platforms, including TikTok, is immeasurable. It is huge, expansive, and transformative. I will not belabor the committee because they, as honorable members, know that there are people making a huge fortune through the content that they create and control on social media platforms, including TikTok. Huge amounts of money, which the finest architects, engineers, lawyers, doctors will never make that amount of money. Content creation and content control on social media platforms, including TikToks. So we are looking at an emerging economic sector, which both the technology around it and the business, commercial, and economic potential it is creating will underpin the fourth industrial revolution and the future of the economics of the world. And that is the reality. However, Mr. Chairman and members, despite these immense opportunities in business, commerce, economics, communications, connectivity, and efficiency in the way we do things, the social media space, including TikTok, presents grave dangers to the world and to our society today. No part of the world is immune from the risks that this space and this platform poses to our way of life, to the social fabric, and even to public safety and security of the people of the world. Honorable Chair, this platform, including all the social media platforms, including TikTok, now have become a possible and real, not really a possible, but a real theater for misuse by criminals to endanger public safety and security. TikTok and other social media platforms are increasingly being used to spread malicious content, which is illegal, unlawful, and a violation of fundamental rights and freedoms. Chair and members, TikTok and other social media platforms are increasingly being used to also generate propaganda, including propaganda for war. Terrorist groups, including the famous ones in our corner, Al-Shabaab and others, are using social media platforms, including TikTok, to generate propaganda for war and also to generate the propaganda to advance the ideology of terror and so forth and so on, including real or even concocted terrorist activities that are posted on these platforms to spread fear to communities, to populations about the invincibility of the terrorist organizations. And it's happening across the world. A major platform for propaganda for war, but also malicious and unlawful content in this space. Chair, this space is also being used to steal, hijack, and control popular accounts. If a person is a popular account holder of a TikTok account, they risk hijack, control and hacking of their accounts, and this has presented security managers around the world with tremendous law enforcement challenges. The stealing of personal accounts, hijacking them. Some even ask for ransom as a way of releasing their accounts back to their owners. This hijacking and stealing of accounts also has embarrassed public officials, celebrities, high-profile individuals, including business people and high net worth individuals. This space of social media, including the TikTok space, is also being used to dupe the people of Kenya and the people of the world into fake and unlawful commercial transactions, including luring the people of Kenya and the people of the world to fake foreign exchange trade business opportunities, fake job recruitment programs that end up conning members of the public in Kenya and across the world. The biggest challenge, however, is on the violation of the privacy and dignity of the people of Kenya through the use of this space to generate offensive sexual content, including spreading pornographic material and also exposing children to pornographic content and unlawful, inappropriate sexual content. This TikTok space and other social media spaces and platforms have been used to post intimate images, especially through the live feature. The live feature of TikTok is being used as a platform of circulating offensive, intimate images, some of it maliciously posted there, some of it deliberately posted there, and this has exposed especially our children into early exposure to destructive content in the pornographic and sexual space. These risks, as I have enumerated them, Chair and members, pose severe distress in our society. The risks pose severe social distress to users of TikTok. It also exposes minors to inappropriate content and also promotes social discord for the reasons which I have explained. What is the government doing about this? Chair and members, we have one of the most robust data management and data control laws anywhere in the world. And if anybody doubted the modernity and the sophistication of our legal regime, they will see how, for example, we reacted to the WorldCoin matter, and therefore what we need to do besides the proposed adjustments of the existing law is actually to enforce the existing law. If it is well enforced, we have a very robust legal system. And therefore, the current law, which is the Data Protection Act of 2019, as supplemented by the data protection regulations, require data controllers and data processors, including now TikTok, because TikTok falls in the category of data controllers and data processors. they are required under the laws of our country to comply with various compliance obligations under the Data Protection Act and the Data Protection Regulations. The compliance requirements include implementing data protection deliberately. And this includes implementing the data protection principles in an effective manner, integrating and implementing appropriate technical and organizational measures to protect personal data and register, and they are also required to register as data controllers or data processors with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. We as government also, through the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, have contacted TikTok. The government of Kenya is in contact with TikTok, and we have raised concerns relating to the way TikTok is processing their data related activities. In particular, the government of Kenya has requested from the owners and operators of TikTok to provide to us the levels of compliance with our laws, namely the Data Protection Act and the Data Protection Regulations. We have also asked them to explain to us the measures that they are taking or they intend to take to ensure the privacy of individuals is respected in accordance with the laws of our country. At the moment, we are not satisfied that there is compliance. We are waiting for the explanation from TikTok. We, as government, have also requested or required TikTok to demonstrate to us their compliance with the requirements of all the laws of Kenya relating to data protection. We have also required them to provide details of the effectiveness of age and verification and content filtering processes. If at all they have any age verification and content filtering procedures as they run that platform. We have also asked them, Chair and members, to tell us what they are doing to implement Kenya-specific supplemental terms in the privacy policy, considering the provisions of our laws. In other words, we have asked them how they are customizing their data processing in the TikTok platform to comply with the law of our country. The government has also required TikTok to demonstrate full compliance, and it's only after that demonstration that we'll also require them to register with the Office of Data Commissioner of the Republic of Kenya as data controllers and data processors going forward. Thank you, Honorable Chair and members.
Thank you, Chair. Before I give a round of questions, we have a member who just walked in. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Good morning, Waziri and team. My name is Honorable John Bwire, Member of Parliament, Taveta constituency.
Very well. Kandia, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank the CS for giving a detailed presentation on the issue of TikTok. Mine is only to ask the CS, because everybody is talking of the benefits of these content creators and economic benefits. Has anyone quantified the economic benefits of this TikTok? Number two, from your presentation, the ills of TikTok outweighs the economic benefits. And can one be right, for example, from the way you said they need, first of all, to comply with our data protection laws? Can we say now we ban TikTok until they comply?
You'll note Waziri, and then I will give you an opportunity to reply. Mheshimiwa Owino.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Waziri, for the comprehensive presentation. Just to ride on what my brother also has asked, you've listed things that you have requested TikTok to bring or to comply with so that they can be licensed to operate. When did you send the request for those things, and have they responded? And do we have time frame for their response? And what do we do in an event where they don't comply at all with whatever the government has requested for? Do we shut them down until they are fully compliant, or what happens? Thank you.
Very well. Honorable Nyanze.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, CS, for the good presentation. My concern is on the use of technology. We find Kenyans are really very good at embracing new technology. And I don't know whether our government or whether we are proactive enough to counter the evils which come about with the technology. In this case, I'm talking about the countries of origin for these technologies, especially when we talk of TikTok and World Coin. It's like they are not embraced in the countries of origin. But when it comes to Kenya, we are very good at embracing new technology. So I know you have talked about the laws and the requirements for people to be registered. But how can we, in the future, ensure that we are more proactive so that we don't just react after we see the evils?
Since we are not many, I can allow all of us to do one round. Honorable Bwire.
Thank you. Waziri, I'm just going through your presentation, especially the last bit, where you have indicated that in particular the office seeks to ascertain the level of compliance of TikTok with Data Protection Act in order to understand what measures must be taken to ensure privacy of individuals is respected in accordance with the laws. And then you have gone ahead and identify the areas which you thought that needs clarification. But I have only one concern. As a government, until now, are we saying that we do not know? We are not able as a government to answer the question as to whether the data of the privacy of Kenyans, and I've seen very senior government officials on TikTok, are we saying that we do not have that information? Because my thinking was, if we were to rely on an answer from TikTok on that aspect, if for instance they come and just say yes, your data is protected, do we have checks and balances to verify and confirm that whatever information that they are going to give to government in relation to data protection is actually the correct position in terms of protection of privacy of individuals?
Very well. Honorable Muriuki.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is a brief one because most of the questions have been asked. Waziri, I want to thank you for a very, very good presentation, which is very well balanced, not inclining or skewed to any side. My concern is when these social platforms are starting to operate in Kenya, at what point is the Ministry of Interior involved so that they can assure or they can ensure that the Kenyans are well protected? At what point, Waziri? Because they are operating, and when they are operating is when you are raising concerns. At what point are you supposed to involve? Thank you.
Waziri, you could take those ones, and then I have one last concern after you have responded to this.
Thank you, Chair, for the the members for the very good clarifications and questions, which are direct and straight to the point. Chair, I think the question by the member for Baringo Central on the issue of quantification of the economic benefits brought by some of these media platforms. We will perhaps, because in the process of processing the whatever recommendations will come from this committee, we will be wanting to engage with our counterparts in the National Treasury to help us do an assessment. I don't think what we have are individual cases which are reported of how content creators are making this amount of money per day, per week, per month. But I think we need to have a multi-agency assessment, because it's important not just to get the facts right, but so that it will inform the balances that we need to strike. Because if something is of significant economic value, then you need to see how, instead of saying total ban, you can have a limited control and make sure you seal the loopholes where the disadvantages and the risks are coming through, to make sure that you don't kill an industry. In any case, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, it is our view that the place of social media, the internet, the artificial intelligence and big data has reached an irreversible stage in the world. So we should also ask ourselves whether we want to shut ourselves out from the fourth industrial revolution completely, or how do we manage it so that it doesn't destroy our country? But the point where we are in the world today is that the drivers of the fourth industrial revolution are irreversible, not for Kenya, for the whole world. And you know, the previous industrial revolutions, Africa has always been left, you know, and that's why we are where we are. So we have to really think, and I am not, I would be the last person as the country's security minister to encourage risky conduct, or conduct that impairs or harms public safety and public security. But there are certain realities we have to live with. You see, when the motor vehicle was discovered, the issue of road accidents was a major issue. Even the aircraft, you know. Many centuries later, more than a century later for the aircrafts, 2-3 centuries later for the train, we are still having accidents, and we have not killed that industry, because there are certain balances, certain benefits that we just try and reduce the risks. Even as we speak today, road traffic accident is a huge thing. You've already seen the kind of public sentiments at the moment. Actually, from me, I'm appearing before the Transport Committee to respond to some of the things we are doing around traffic. So even as we think about what this petitioner is asking for, we must contextualize. So I agree that there is need for us, so that we work with facts, to quantify, and we'll work with other agencies and coordinate a process where we have some figures. And it's not a difficult thing to do, because it's just economic projections, estimates, and what have you, between us, the planning ministry, the National Treasury, the tax people, and other relevant agencies, the IT people. We can be able to, and also the creative industry. There's a department, a directorate in the sports ministry which deals with the creative economy. Between us, we can have a fair projection of what this sector presents in terms of the actual current contribution to our GDP and also the years to come. I don't think at this stage we are in a position, in my humble view, to declare that the dangers presented by TikTok outweigh the benefits. It's a bit premature. I am inclined to be persuaded once we have a bit of factual and evidence-based policy positions developed. And this is what we should be doing. And between the executive and the legislature, I think we should work out a program where we have a policy that is evidence-based to help us assess whether the risks are greater or they are more prominent than the benefits, or vice versa. Number 3, do we ban TikTok until they comply? Again, for the reasons I have said in the first 2 questions, it will be premature. And what we are doing right now, that engagement is a procedural requirement of the current law. You don't just wake up and say, okay, we think this is happening, and then you. So it's an engagement, because we have also been seized of this matter. Even outside this petition, we've been seized of this matter. And I think the letter from the data commissioner, I can't confirm the timeline, but the act also provides for timeline, and also the constitution, because this is, whatever measures the country will take is administrative action. If you look at Article 47, it says you must have a procedural, there's a procedure of arriving at an administrative action, including listening to the people who are likely to be affected by that action, giving them an opportunity to be heard. And it doesn't matter the merit of their case. Even if their case is weak, they must be allowed to present the weak case. And when I was in law school, we used to be taught by our teachers that the right to be heard is an undeniable right. Even if somebody has nothing to say, they must be given an opportunity to say the nothing before action is taken. So we have a time frame. I can't remember the number of days they have been asked to. Then the 4th issue was, what happens if they don't comply? We take action, period. And I mean, it's not rocket science. We do it very fast. We did with WorldCoin and other people. We'll do what we must do if they don't comply. In fact, it's not a request. It's I didn't use the word request. I said we have required them. It's not a request. You don't enforce the law through requests. You enforce the law through demands, directives, orders, and requirements. Then finally, I think 2 other additional things. I am not sure whether my sister, the honorable member for Kitui West, the honorable Nyenze, I humbly disagree that we embrace technologies more than the countries of origin. Maybe some of the more advanced countries, and that is a discussion we should have as a country, there are some well-to-do countries who are very slow in embracing new technologies, and that they are doing well. For various reasons, they are also doing well. So we should not attach embracing technology to our prosperity, because there are countries who are still prosperous, but they have been very careful in embracing new technologies. But there are also very successful countries who have embraced technology big time. So I think that's what I think around that. But I hear you that as a country we must, because of the serious public security, public safety, public health, and the social interests posed by some of these technological applications, we must apply the precautionary principle and always be cautious before